Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 40. Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa esha tu deshatah prokto vibhuter vistaro maya. Krishna says, Na antaha asti. There is no end to my mama divyanam vibhutinam. My divya vibhuti, my divine opulences, na antaha asti. There is no end to my divine opulences. Parantapa, O Arjuna. And so far, what I have described, Eshatu Uddeshataha Proktaha, just as an example, as a sample I have given. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication because Vibhutehe Vistaro Maya, my opulences are infinite, expanded unlimitedly. So Prabhupada says in the purport, as stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. The energy of the Supreme Lord is unlimited. We cannot even comprehend. Just like you see how many hairs on our body, and you cut and they keep coming, and you just put one hole on the ground, so many ants will keep coming. There was Prabhupada used to tell one story. There was this cobbler, and then there was this learned scholar, Brahmana, who was expert in Vedic literature. And Narada Muni was passing by, and the Brahmana happens to see him and offers his respects and asks him where he was going. Narada Muni said, oh, he was going to see the Lord in Vaikuntha. And Brahmana said, oh, is that so? Very nice. Can you please ask him when I'm going to come back to him? And Narada Muni said, yes. And then Narada Muni, on the way, he passes through this cobbler. And the cobbler also offers his respects and says, where you are going? Narada Muni says, I'm going to Vaikuntha. Oh, my beautiful Lord is there. Can you ask him when I can come out of this place and come back to him? And Narada Muni said, yes. And then Narada Muni goes to Vaikuntha, offers his respects to Narayana. And Lord Narayana is asking Narada, what is the situation? What is that you have today? And Narada Muni says, these two devotees are asking when they will come. And Narayana says, this cobbler, he is coming at the end of his life, in this life. But this other Vedic scholar, he will take many more births. He's not ready yet. And Narada Muni was surprised. Oh, is that so? Why is it? And Lord Narayana said, you will understand why. When you go and meet them, you tell them, if they ask what Narayana is doing, you tell them that I am trying to push an elephant into the needle, into the eye of the needle. Usually we push the small thread, isn't it, into the eye of the needle so we can sew the clothes. So you tell them that I am trying to push an elephant through the eye of the needle. And then he goes back and he meets these people. First, he meets the Vedic scholar. And he asks, "Oh, did you meet Narayana?" "Yes." "What did he say?" "Oh, you will come back after some more births. You will still have time. You're not coming back immediately." Then he becomes so disappointed. "What is Narayana doing?" he asks. Narada says, "Narayana is trying to thread an elephant through the eye of a needle." And then this scholar starts to laugh. "So please don't kid me. How can somebody thread an elephant into the eye of a needle? You must be joking. The Lord must be doing something not that silly." And then Narada Muni stays silent and he leaves that place and goes to the cobbler. And then cobbler asks, "Oh, did you meet Narayana? When am I coming?" He says, "Yeah, you are coming back at the end of this life." And the cobbler becomes so ecstatic. "Oh, I'm going to meet the Lord so soon." Starts to cry. "What is my Lord doing?" And then Narada Muni says, "He's trying to thread an elephant into the eye of a needle." And then the cobbler becomes even more ecstatic and starts to cry and dance in ecstasy. And then Narada Muni says, "Why are you so ecstatic about this? It is something fantasy, isn't it? How can somebody thread an elephant into the eye of a needle? Do you really believe that the Lord can do that?" And then the cobbler says, "Yes, why not? My Lord is super excellent, beyond this material world. Just see the tree where I am sitting under, this big banyan tree. The huge banyan tree is contained in that small seed. From the small seed, that huge banyan tree came. And it produces many such seeds. And in each such seed, there is the potency of the huge banyan tree again. So many banyan trees. So if the Lord can fit a huge banyan tree into a small seed, can't he just push an elephant through the eye of a needle? So what is magnificent about it?" And then Narada Muni understood the faith, the understanding that the cobbler had, and why Narayana said he is ready to come back. So sometimes when we hear about the opulences of the Lord, we think it is phantasmagoria, fantasy. We think it has to fit in our logic. When we hear from Bhagavatam how Lord Brahma is born from the navel of Lord Vishnu, in a lotus stem sprouts, and then Lord Brahma is born on that. Oh, this all seems like a fantasy story. Did we ever have experience of somebody being born like that? Oh, the Lord has 4 arms. Oh, have we ever seen people having 4 arms? So, like that, whatever we hear in scriptures, it must conform to our set framework. That means we are bringing God to a mundane platform. If I cannot see 100 feet away, then the Lord also should not see 100 feet away. If something is there in front of me, a wall, I will not be able to see, the Lord also should not be able to see. Then what is the difference between God and human? He is also a conditioned, defective personality. The definition of God itself is not conditional. He is absolute. He is transcendental to all these conditions and defects. Then how can he conform to your logic? Say a two-dimensional creature. Let's say an ant. Assume that an ant is a two-dimensional creature. That means only x-axis and y-axis. It only knows the two dimensions. It doesn't know what is happening up or down. And then the ant, he sees a big ball. So let's say ant is going across a plane of paper, and let's say there is a huge ball coming in and going across. Say it penetrates the paper and going across, and the ant will see the huge ball as a dot hitting the paper, isn't it? And then the dot is expanding into a circle, 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 and then goes through the paper and then exits and then again shrinks. The circle shrinks and becomes a dot. So the ant will see the dot and circle and contracting and a dot. And he will think this is a dot and a circle. But if somebody were to go and no, 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 this is a huge ball, the ant will not even understand what is a ball. You must be kidding. Don't tell me all these stories. Just like the frog in the well, Prabhupada gives the example. The frog in the well cannot accommodate the size of a huge ocean. He will think ocean means maybe 1 or 2 times bigger than this well, or maybe 10 times. So, this is called conditioning. We are conditioned to think in a boundary, in certain dimensions. But even the scientists, they agree that there are multiple dimensions in this universe. There are up to 11 dimensions. We are only used to 3 dimensions. A fourth dimensional creature, like you have, I was giving the example of ant. Let's say there is somebody, another ant, he has secured his belongings, locked it up in a circle, and he has the key to the circle. He opens the circle, he gets those belongings, the food that he has stored. So the only way for him to enter is through break the circle, open the circle, take the food, and again close the circle. He locked the food. Now, a 3 dimensional creature like a human being can access from above the circle. He takes the food away. And then the ant opens the circle and finds there is no food. Nobody opened the circle, yet the food is gone. It is bewildering, isn't it? Similarly, now you find you have a 3 dimensional creature. We have a egg, for example, or a coconut. A fourth dimensional creature can come and take away all the water in the coconut without ever breaking the coconut. Possible or not? It's possible, isn't it? Because they are fourth dimension. Without breaking the circle, we could take the food from within the circle because we are 3 dimensional. A fourth dimensional creature, why can't he take the water from the coconut without breaking it? It's possible. But we cannot comprehend the fourth dimension. So that is why Shastra says, Achintya khalu ye bhava natam starkena yojayet. That which is inconceivable, we should not try to analyze with our logic. Logic will only take to a certain extent. But if we want to progress beyond this material world, logic will be a limitation. If we try to justify everything and believe everything only by logic, we have to take the Shabda Pramana, the scriptural Pramana. What God is saying through his disciplic succession, that there is this another world, Vaikuntha, even though we may not be able to see, we cannot see even this universe itself, we don't know the limit. What to speak of beyond the universe? They cannot even ext- estimate the extent of this universe that we are in. What to speak of Vaikuntha? But we have to, if we have to go beyond these defects of this body, this world, this suffering, then we have to believe in somebody who claims, yes, I will take you out. And as you are following that path, you will see, yes, you are actually being taken out. The process, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. When you follow this process of Krishna consciousness, you will see changes happening in your consciousness. You will see yourself rising from the lower modes to the higher modes, from tamoguna, rajoguna to sattva. Your taste for material things keeps reducing. That is a sign that you are progressing. So the Vaikuntha is there, this material universes are there. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the opulences of Krishna. Not only is the potency of Krishna Loka limitless, but so also that of Vrindavana, Lord Krishna's abode on this planet. Talking about this planet. On this planet, from one point of view, the place Vrindavan is about 32 square miles in area. Yet, in one part of this Vrindavan, all the Vaikunthas exist. The area of the present day Vrindavan consists of 12 forests and covers about 168 miles in area. And Vrindavan city itself is estimated to be 32 square miles. So, how all the Vaikunthas can exist there is beyond material calculation, beyond logic. You cannot apply. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concluded, therefore, that the potencies and opulences of Krishna are unlimited. And while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was explaining these potencies to Sanatana Goswami, he became immersed in ecstasy. And then he recited a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is basically told by Uddhava after the disappearance of Krishna. So Uddhava tells Vidura in ecstasy, Swayam twasamya tishayasтрiyadhishaha स्वराज्य लक्ष्म्याप्त समस्त कामः बलिम हरद्भिश्चिरलोकपालै किरीटकोट्येडितपादपीठः. So it means Krishna is the master of all these great personalities, the demigods, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the expansion of Vishnu within the universe. So therefore, no one is equal to or greater than him. Swayam tu asamyati sayasaha. He is full in all opulences, six opulences. And all the demigods engaged in the administration of each universe offered their respectful obeisances unto him. Indeed, the helmets on their heads are beautiful because they are decorated with the imprints of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So, similarly, Brahma Samhita also says Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no one can be equal to or greater than him. That is Brahma's conclusion. Although the universal rulers, Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, are masters of each and every universe, they are also servants of the Supreme Lord Krishna. I think a few days ago we discussed this pastime of how Brahma comes to see Krishna in Dwaraka, and the doorman stops and goes asks Krishna for permission, and Krishna asks which Brahma has come, and and Brahma becomes bewildered. Oh, four-headed Brahma has come. And then he goes inside and asks Krishna, Krishna, why did you ask like this? And Krishna said, there are innumerable universes. Yours is the smallest universe. And there are Brahmas with 8 heads, 16 heads, 32 heads, millions of heads, trillions of heads. It's inconceivable. And Krishna, with his mystic power, summons all these Brahmas, and they all come to take darshan and offer obeisances to the Lord. Their helmets hitting the ground as they offer obeisances, rattling that ground and creating that thunderous sound. And then this Brahma is left bewildered, looking at all this. And he at once falls down at the lotus feet of Krishna and says, "What I thought about you before was all nonsense. People may say they know you perfectly, but as far as I am concerned, I cannot begin to conceive how great you are. You are beyond my understanding. You are beyond my understanding." This is what, who is saying this? Lord Brahma, the original, the creator of this universe, the most intelligent being. He is saying this, that Krishna, your opulences are unlimited. I cannot understand you. So basically, if you always associate with Krishna, you'll always be fully opulent, isn't it? Because a servant in a king's palace, he's serving the king, he gets to be in the palace with nice air conditioning. He gets to get the best of the foods that is cooked for the king, healthiest and or opulent. He gets the best facilities. He has to take care of the king, so he has to stay in the quarters. So he gets the best vehicle, travels with the king. So just by being in the association of the king, by being an associate of the king, he will get all opulences. And he won't feel any distress of outside world. Just like in Dwaraka, the Yadus, they had this Sudharma assembly hall. Just like every government has this, parliament. So like that, the kings also, they had these assembly halls. Based on the power of the king, they would have an expansive assembly halls. So Krishna, because he was powerful, the Yadus, they got this Sudharma assembly hall from the heavenly planets. And the speciality of that is anybody who enters the assembly hall, they will not have any of the material distresses like Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi or Adhyatmikadi Bhautikadi Daivik Kleshas. So one who has entered that, he is beyond, he is not subject to other deficiencies. So if we really want to be actually opulent, even materially speaking, of course, to seek like that is materialistic. But still, one who is a devotee is not devoid of even material opulences. Vedeshu yagneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yad punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. A devotee is not bereft of all the opulences that one gets through study of Vedas, yagneshu, daneshu, tapassu. Yat punya phalam pradishtam, whatever punya phala is attained by all those, the devotee gets all of that and even surpasses. Then one might ask, why the devotees appear to be poor? Like Sudama Vipra, we see in Bhagavatam. He was very poor. He didn't even have food for his daily living, hardly struggling. And his wife, upon persuading from his wife, he went to Krishna to seek some favor, to change his position. And we know how Krishna, just by taking that worn out, chipped rice, He made him so opulent. So, did the devotee need to ask Krishna for that opulence? No. So, it is said that there are two kinds of devotees. One who is indifferent to the opulences. Indifferent means they don't care whether there is opulence or not. If the opulence is there, well and good, they'll use it for serving Krishna. Like we have in Vrindavan, you go, so many beautiful, grand temples are there. Why? Because the Goswamis, they used the opulence of these opulent people who offered their service. They used them to build the temples of Krishna. And all the great Rajarshis, Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, they all used their opulences for serving Krishna. So Krishna, if he knows that you are not going to be derailed, Krishna will give you unlimited opulences. It's not beyond his reach. Everything is in his grasp. So there are one kind of devotees who are indifferent. So Krishna will give. But the other kind of devotees, they are repulsive, or they want simplistic life. They don't want to anything to do with the opulences. Like one devotee, he was happily chanting every day in the holy dham. And one day somebody came and gave him a very expensive shawl and a expensive blanket. And then after 2 days, he went and gave it back to him. And then the wife got to know about that and said, why did you give it back to him? You got it after a long time. We cannot even afford those expensive ones. And the devotee said, so far I've been happily taking a cotton cloth, old worn out cloth, and spreading it on the bottom and somehow covering myself with old clothes, and I'm happily chanting. Now, since the time I got this expensive blanket, expensive shawl, I'm focused on maybe they will become spoiled if I misuse like this. The new things, expensive things get spoiled. And my focus, instead of chanting, I am focusing on these things. So I went and gave it back to him. I'm happy without this. So some devotees are like that. So Krishna grants whatever is our mentality, Krishna grants. Even if we want material opulence for material enjoyment, Krishna will give that. Eventually, Krishna will purify us. That is the advantage of going to Krishna. You will get material opulence as well as you get purification of heart. That is why it is strongly recommended in scriptures. Akamaha sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Whether you are not having any desires, or you are full of desires, or you want to go get liberated, anything you want, you go and approach Krishna with devotion. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.